Exploring Feng Shui, characteristics of wealthy land and types of acupoints. Blessed land. In the present day, people tend to think that blessings refers to having money and power, which is essentially the concept of being wealthy and influential. However, in our view, it should not be understood in this way. This is a distorted understanding of the concept by modern people. Even for ordinary people in the secular world, those who have not embarked on the path of cultivation do not understand it this way. From the perspective of Feng Shui, for ordinary people, blessed land refers to a place where future generations can prosper and live in peace for generations without major disasters or difficulties. Although the family may not be extremely wealthy, there is always enough to get by each year. The descendants are generally intelligent, understand the importance of accumulating good deeds, and are not foolish. People who possess these qualities are naturally close to the gods and Buddhas, and while they may not necessarily embark on a spiritual path, they do not engage in conflicts with others for the sake of fame, wealth, or personal gain. It is a state similar to being on the Tao without formally pursuing it. One of the most famous blessed lands in China is the land where the Kong family comes from. Many blessed lands also have elements of spiritual cultivation. It just depends on whether or not they are utilized. If this aspect is utilized, future generations may produce spiritual practitioners. From a personal perspective, based on many years of experience, our favorite blessed land is the lotus land of the Buddha school. When standing on the acupoints and looking around, the surrounding mountains form a flower-like shape, and the landscape is relatively harmonious. Note, in Feng Shui terminology, it means that the mountains and waters are oriented around the acupoints as the main focus. With no major flaws or shortcomings, from an ordinary person's perspective, they may not necessarily like the kind of land that is extremely wealthy and prosperous. The truly wealthy and prosperous individuals generally have a sense of destiny and responsibility. And in order to cultivate them and prepare them to bear such responsibilities, they will be tested and challenged. Therefore, there is an ancient saying that heaven imposes heavy responsibilities on those who have great ability. They must first undergo mental and physical hardships, experience hunger and deprivation, and have their work and plans disrupted. Through these challenges, they can temper their character and strengthen their abilities, and thus benefit from what they previously could not achieve. For ordinary people, their blessings and virtues may be limited, and their ability to endure difficulties may be small. They may not be willing to experience such hardships, and may have a mindset of not seeking merit but avoiding faults. However, any living being in the universe has the freedom to choose. It is better to choose not to undergo such trials than to risk being destroyed by them and ending up on the opposite path. Therefore, having self-awareness is also a good thing and a sign of wisdom. In Buddhism, there is the concept of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Even if one cannot become a god or an advanced being, they can still be a human being, which is better than being a hungry ghost or falling into hell as an animal. Ominous sites. The term ominous sites refers to a site that, after being evaluated by a Feng Shui master, causes trouble or even death to the master due to unknown reasons. These phenomena may occur rapidly, such as sudden disasters, calamities, tragic deaths, or incurable illnesses, or slowly, where no major disasters or misfortunes are evident at the time of evaluation. But the area gradually experiences bad luck, chronic illnesses, a decline in family fortunes, and harm to oneself or family members. A site that directly causes the Feng Shui master's death is known as a killer site, which is greatly feared and avoided by Feng Shui masters. Many people are hesitant to engage in Feng Shui practices because of the potential risks, including encountering such sites or getting involved too deeply in the field. Are there such things as these ominous sites? Yes, there are. They're not that scary. Ominous sites generally refer to major flaws in several key points, such as dragon, acupoint, sand, and water. Taking dragon veins as an example, the main mountain where the dragon vein relies on has a strong evil energy. In terms that ordinary people can understand, it means that the main mountain behind the acupoint, where the dragon vein relies on, is steep and without ups and downs. And it is relatively stiff and straight, especially with white cliffs on both sides of the back. Alternatively, there may be potholes, bad stones, or others on the dragon vein behind the acupoint. Such ominous sights not only bring various disasters to the future family clan behind the acupoint, but also cause the Feng Shui master to be unable to withstand such evil energy, leading to disasters or even death. Why is that so? As we mentioned in the previous section on underground acupoints, the underground acupoints are graded, and practitioners are also graded based on their moral and ethical levels. For example, when the cultivation level of a Feng Shui master is equivalent to the 5th grade of the underground acupoint, and he or she goes to point a 2nd grade underground acupoint for others to use, isn't he or she surpassing his or her level to do things? It's like a mayor acting like a deputy prime minister. Think about the consequences. Wouldn't you get into trouble? Definitely. This is a violation of the rules. In ancient times, this was a beheading offense. Even today, if the circumstances are serious enough, the death penalty can still be imposed. There are gods on the underground acupoint, each with their own temperament and character. Jokingly, some of the protectors mentioned in Buddhism are subdued demons, while others are Vajrasattvas. They are not the type to show mercy like humans, and cannot be persuaded. There is no such thing as a backdoor. Everything is handled according to the law. Feng Shui master must strictly examine a family's fortune before selecting and determining the location for them. Some highly skilled Feng Shui masters may even investigate the ancestors and past lives of the family from top to bottom to determine the arrangements that conform to the laws of the universe. Nowadays, even if someone finds a suitable underground acupoint, it may not feel energetically alive because the gods have left. To activate the acupoint, a Feng Shui master must possess the necessary abilities and have a high level of spiritual cultivation to communicate with the spirits of the earth and help to activate the acupoint. Only a Feng Shui master who is cultivated to the same or higher level as the acupoint can have the qualifications to activate it. In other words, the Feng Shui master's level of cultivation must reach or exceed the level of the underground acupoint before they can activate it. Even if you have reached that level, you still need to follow the will of heaven. If you forcefully activate it without the permission of heaven, you will violate the heavenly laws, and the consequences could be severe. At this point, some Feng Shui enthusiasts may start to worry. With such strict rules, even if I start to practice, I don't know the level of the earth cave. What if I make a mistake and unintentionally break the rules? Wouldn't that be a big loss? In general, if you can't reach a certain level of cultivation, you won't be able to see or access the earth cave. Of course, many things are not absolute, especially in the human world. So in general, everyone knows a principle. If you don't have the mandate of heaven, even if you know Feng Shui, you won't easily use it. If you happen to come across good land, it's like admiring treasures in a museum. You just look and don't take. Those who have the mandate of heaven will know whether or not they should do it and how to do it. Real Feng Shui masters don't easily point out land, and when they do, they usually don't accept payment. This kind of thing can't be bought with money. Those who accept payment, especially those who accept large sums of money, are usually fake and are just swindlers. Scholars land and martial land in the world of Feng Shui. There is a simple division of people from different regions in China, and many Feng Shui enthusiasts are aware of it. For example, the Jiangnan area is known for producing literary scholars and wealthy merchants, while Guangxi is known for producing military officers and soldiers. This division makes sense and has been historically proven. So, what is it based on? The mountains in Jiangnan are generally delicate and small in shape, with good vegetation and no exposed rocks on the overall layout of the mountains, especially the lively and agile left green dragon, and many mountains shaped like pen holders in front of a mountain, resulting in many high-ranking literati coming from this area. In addition, surrounded by green water, wealthy people are also more likely to emerge. In Guangxi, the mountains are like stalactites, with no vegetation and exposed rocks in rows like soldiers in formation. So it is a place where warriors are born, but their rank is generally not high, meaning there are many soldiers. The places where true generals are born are related to nobility Gui. The mountains in the overall landscape are mostly rocky or even white. Cliffs, especially the majestic and fierce white tiger, which means that there are many mountain peaks that form the shape of a white tiger, covering a large area with exposed rocks, forming a continuous white cliff. In ancient records, Important military institutions of the imperial court were often called by Tang, and there were also legends about certain great generals being the reincarnation of the white tiger star, all of which come from these places. In addition, there are various types of Buddha school and Tao school lands, as well as places for spiritual practice and so on in the field of Feng Shui. They will not be listed one by one here. Finally, one more point needs to be emphasized. In Feng Shui, there is a common experience and observation that there is a fire pit next to good land. What does it mean? It means that real good land usually has a place nearby that looks like a cave or acupoint. And when you stand there, the overall appearance and terrain seem to meet the requirements of Feng Shui. However, this place is actually a fake created to deceive people or to protect the real acupoint. And the person who knows it will not allow it to be found easily. Nowadays, many people, especially those who are wealthy and powerful, want to find a Feng Shui master to help them find good land so that they can take their career to the next level. Jokingly speaking, if they find a fake Feng Shui master, it would be fine to cheat him with a harmless piece of land. However, if the Feng Shui master only has a partial understanding and can locate the general vicinity of the auspicious spot, but is not accurate and ends up pointing to a fire pit near the true spot, then the family will be in big trouble, waiting for their fortunes to decline or even for their family to be ruined.